everyone, welcome back to my channel, or hello if you are new. My name is Alyssa and here we talk all things true crime related. So today we're going to be talking about a solved case that involves Lauren Hugelmaier and Matthew Phelps. This case took place back in 2017 in Raleigh, North Carolina, and this guy Matthew tried blaming cough syrup to justify his actions. 29-year-old Lauren Hugelmaier was born on June 9, 1988 in Los Angeles, California. She grew up with two sisters in a very tight-knit traditional religious family. Now, while Lauren was still young, her and her family moved to Bowling Green, Kentucky, where she would attend Holy Trinity Lutheran School. And out of everyone in her family, Lauren was said to be a daddy's girl, where she shared this special bond with her father, Dale, and also was very close with her older sister, Beth. Now, eventually Lauren and her family would move again to Raleigh, North Carolina, and this is where she would be for the remainder of her life. Lauren was a driven, godly woman that made an impact on people's lives by her caring and loving nature. Like, she was just a friend to everyone. She always fought for those who couldn't fight for themselves and stood up for people that couldn't stand. She was goofy and silly with kids and expressed her deep wishes to wanting to become a mother someday. I mean, she was a great role model to her friends' kids by being encouraging and supportive, and would make everyone in her life feel as though they are the most important person. She had this huge heart for the people around her and would even give up weekends to chaperone middle schoolers. And once she found her home church at Hope Lutheran, she would become a youth leader. So she was very involved with her community and her friends and family. Eventually, Lauren became an auditor at a Fortune 500 company and also was a Sunday school teacher, so she was definitely a busy gal with her jobs and her volunteer work. So Lauren actually met Matthew back when they were in middle school in Kentucky. Then several years later, he had sent her an Instagram message, and at first, Lauren didn't recognize him, but eventually they would end up having this long-distance relationship as Matthew was still in Kentucky and Lauren was in North Carolina. Their relationship ended up progressing quickly to the point where Matthew moved to Raleigh just to be with Lauren. Now, at first, Lauren's family welcomed Matthew into their family because from what it seemed like, Matthew made Lauren happy, but the one person that kind of had an off-put feeling about Matthew was her father, Dale. But it seemed like Matthew loved Lauren despite any flaws that she might have, and would basically do anything to put a smile on her face, so her dad just kind of put his feelings to the side. At this point, her family became his. Now, Matthew attracted Lauren's attention by pretending to be vulnerable, I guess, basically triggering her Good Samaritan impulse. Now, one night, Lauren's parents hosted a game night in which Matthew attended, and apparently that night he decided to confess to all of Lauren's family that he had already had a failed marriage prior to dating Lauren, and this basically confirmed all of Lauren's father's uneasy feelings about the guy. And to her parents, Matthew just seemed too young to have already had a divorce, and this really made them question his integrity. But time went on and the couple eventually got engaged in 2015. Then the following year in 2016, they got married. And from what it seemed like through photos, the wedding was beautiful, showing friends and family laughing and enjoying themselves. I mean, Lauren looked absolutely beautiful and had the biggest smile on her face. The two even bonded over their love for Star Wars to the extent where they had a Star Wars themed wedding where they pulled out lightsabers, and it just seemed like it was such a special time in Lauren's life. Shortly after getting married, the couple did end up moving into a 2-bedroom townhouse in Raleigh, North Carolina, and from social media, the couple appeared to be happy with Lauren's post showing how much she loved Matthew. But as time went on, the family started noticing a dark change in Matthew's character, so they would actually encourage him to seek therapy. Now, Matthew did not have a good upbringing. His biological father was not in his life, and his mom was 17 at the time Matthew was born and basically wanted nothing to do with him, so she would always drop him off at his grandparents for them to basically raise him. And this led Matthew feeling abandoned and unwanted. His mom would remarry, but the relationship did not last very long. It was said, though, that all they would do since Matthew was the age of 4 was sit around and watch horror slasher movies. And in my opinion, that's very young to be exposed to such violent behavior. As a result, he suffered from severe anxiety and depression, and to make matters worse, Matthew just fell with the wrong crowd when he was in high school, where these friends would influence him to abuse alcohol and drugs. Specifically, Matthew and his friends would take Coricidin and cough syrup recreationally, but they would take higher doses to sort of feel some high. As his grandparents started to see Matthew spiraling, they took him out of public school and put him in a private Christian academy, which actually helped Matthew, and he seemed to be getting his life back on track. He did end up aspiring to learn more about God, so he enrolled at Clear Creek Baptist Bible College, where he started studying missions and evangelism and would also occasionally preach there. And this is when he met his first wife, and after 3 years, according to Matthew, she had went on a mission trip, but when she returned, she informed Matthew that she had fallen in love with someone else during this trip. But his ex-wife did come out and state that this was not the case at all. Allegedly, Matthew behaved violently with his ex-wife and would spend all of their money, which is what ended up leading her to filing for divorce. Now, Matthew had a weird obsession with the movie American Psycho that came out back in 2000, and if you haven't seen it, it's basically about a wealthy New York investment banker that lived this double life as a serial killer. So Matthew ended up creating a secret Instagram account that Lauren and her family did not know about, with the username Marty_radical, where I guess he would post several scenes from the movie and also would post images of him dressed up as the main character, Patrick Bateman. He would also quote dark heavy metal lyrics from the band Korn. So the entire account was just extremely upsetting to the family once they discovered it. In addition, Matthew hid his cigarette smoking addiction from Lauren, and at this point, it seems like there was this repetition of lies coming from Matthew. But the smoking thing was a huge betrayal because Lauren's dad had open heart surgery a couple years prior, and the doctors told the family that her dad had to stop smoking or he would die. So smoking was seen as a betrayal to Lauren's family, and Matthew clearly knew this because he was hiding it from them. And why would you hide it if it's no big deal? Not long after the couple married, the relationship really started to dwindle. Allegedly, this was partly due to tensions that erupted between the two regarding their finances. Now, Matthew did quit his job right before they got married, then went on to spend more money than they were making, basically digging into their savings. For instance, there was $1,200 worth of iTunes and Xbox subscriptions, which funded Matthew's video game hobby, and it got to the point where Lauren started taking drastic steps to limit Matthew's spending. And since Matthew did not like to work, this forced Lauren to have multiple jobs in order to make ends meet. So aside from Lauren being an auditor, she started selling Scentsy candles and fragrances, and it was even said that Lauren had around $10,000 in her account before getting married to Matthew, and then less than a year later, she only had $1,000 in savings. The couple even tried to save to go on a trip to Disney World, but as soon as the money was saved up for that trip, Matthew would spend it all on himself, and I can just imagine how frustrating that would have been for Lauren. Another issue Lauren and Matthew faced in their marriage was jealousy. Matthew would fight multiple times with Lauren because he was worried a guy at their church had feelings for her, but Lauren showed no signs of being interested in this person, so Matthew basically was causing an issue out of nothing. Yet, Matthew was confiding in their female neighbor and would even choose her over Lauren multiple times. Like one occasion, Lauren made dinner for her and Matthew, and when Matthew got home, he saw Lauren was making them food, but ended up just going to the neighbor's house for hours. Then decided to text Lauren, "Just eat dinner without me, I'm having way too much fun with Valerie." Like, I'm sorry, but no. What's also strange is that shortly after they got married, Matthew went from always wanting to make Lauren happy to not caring at all if she was happy. Like, he would go through these cycles of like caring and then not caring. Now, eventually the problems between Lauren and Matthew would get to the point where she started to prepare ending the relationship, as she was just exhausted of his immature behavior, and I think we can all understand where she's coming from. Unfortunately, the couple's conflicts came to an end on September 1st of 2017 when 911 received a call from Matthew around 1 a.m. who claimed he accidentally stabbed his wife to death while he was in a cough medicine-induced haze.
I think I killed Mom. What do you mean by that? What happened? I had a dream, and then I turn on the lights and she's dead on the floor. How? I have blood all over me, and there's a bloody knife on the bed, and I think I did it. All right, stay on the phone with me, sir. Just gotta ask you a few questions, okay? I'm getting some help to you. Are you with the patient now? Yeah, I can see her. Okay. All right. How old is the patient? How old is your? She's 29. Okay. Is she awake at all right now? What makes you think she's dead? Is she awake? She's not breathing. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Do you think she is beyond any help? I don't know. I'm too scared to get too close to her. Okay, just stay on the phone with me, sir. I'm here with you. I'm so scared. Alright, I've already sent the paramedics to help you, okay? I'm sending someone to assist you. Just please leave everything as you found it. Is there anything else we can do for you, sir? Where's the knife right now? The knife's on the bed. I'm not next to it, so I don't have a weapon on me or anything like that. Okay. When did you wake up? I don't know. I took more medicine than I should have. What medicine did you take? I took Corseed, cough and cold, Corseed, HPT, cough and cold, because I know it can make you feel good, so a lot of times I can't sleep at night. Okay. I took some. Alright, now, what, are you sure she's not breathing? She's not moving. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna stay here with you, okay? Let's at least see if she's breathing, okay? All right, let's remind her. Can you see her from where you're at? Yeah, it's so bad. There's so much blood.
Now, when police arrived, Lauren was found in the fetal position in their bedroom with multiple stab wounds all over her body. And to police, it was pretty clear that Lauren was not alive. It was also said that Matthew had allegedly cleaned himself up before even placing the 911 call, but he did have some blood on him when investigators arrived. Now, I certainly believe this because in his 911 call, he stated he had blood all over him, but then when police arrived, he only had a little on his shoes and shirt. They also pretty quickly located the knife that appeared to be perfectly placed on the couple's bed. In addition, the cough medicine was laid out on the bathroom counter, and to investigators, the scene almost looked staged. Lauren was then transported by EMS to Wake Medical Center, where she was officially pronounced dead. Immediately, Matthew was taken into custody and charged with first-degree murder. Now, this completely rubbed me the wrong way, but I guess when Matthew was interviewing with the police, he showed very little emotion, but never actually shed a tear, and that just really shows me that he did not care about Lauren. At first, Matthew pled not guilty and that the murder was committed in a cold medicine-induced haze, but eventually he ended up pleading guilty to first-degree murder for the death of his 29-year-old wife, Lauren Hugelmaier, and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. His plea did imply premeditation, which countered the possibility that he committed this while he was in a cold medicine-induced haze. In addition, prosecutors in court showed tests that were performed on Matthew the day of the murder, and the amount of cough syrup in his system was more than a normal dose, but not at a toxic level. Now, Lauren's autopsy would determine that she was stabbed 123 times. all from the waist up. Also, it showed that she did struggle for her life during this fatal attack. Like, even just counting to 123, just seems like it would take forever. Now, an attorney would say that 123 wounds likely would rule out an accident, but like I mentioned earlier, the defense tried to rule that Matthew suffered from a psychotic state or was detached from reality due to the cough syrup. But again, tests confirmed that he was completely fine when he did this. Prosecutors also found Google searches on Matthew's phone, such as, have other people been high from Coracetin? And how loopy does Coracetin make you? Like, dude, why are you searching that? Now, Bayer, the makers of the cough medicine Coracetin, did make a statement that at the time, there was no evidence that the medication was associated to violent behavior. And these companies run multiple tests on their drugs. So for Matthew to say that this happened due to the cough syrup is just ridiculous in my opinion. Now remember, I had mentioned earlier about Matthew's obsession with the movie American Psycho, and it was found in a search warrant document that investigators believe that Matthew took his fascination for that movie a bit too far by mimicking a serial killer character, and unfortunately Lauren was his subject in this act. And it's disgusting. And to make matters worse, Matthew expressed to a friend that he was curious as to what it would be like to kill someone, which, if you're the friend in that situation, what do you do? Alert the authorities? But I'm not sure what all they could do, but at least it would, get it off your shoulders and, into the hands of, the right people. Oh, and also, investigators found a journal that Matthew would write in, and basically Matthew would write all of his insecurities and how he would never fit in with Lauren's family. And then to find out what he did to her, you sick and twisted human of a being, just freaking divorce. And you guys, there are so many cases out there in that similar aspect. And now this just really irritates me, but when Matthew was at his first court appearance, the judge asked him how he was doing, and Matthew's response was, "At least I'm still alive." Come on. This response just really makes me feel like all he cared about was himself. At his sentencing hearing on October 5th of 2018, not one person from Matthew's family was at the court. And I did hear this was because they didn't want to face Lauren's family and loved ones. Now, Lauren's sister did get up to speak to the court, and the one thing that I wanted to shed light on was Lauren and her sister actually had a conversation where Lauren expressed the fact that she didn't understand the death penalty. Why would someone want someone to die even if they committed a horrible crime? And this just really shows how big Lauren's heart was, and then to find out what happens to her is just so incredibly sad. Now, back to Lauren's sister's statement to the court, she mentions that her 13-year-old daughter expressed that she wanted Matthew to get the death penalty. That's how much of an impact this case brought onto everyone in her family. Now, Lauren's dad did speak to Matthew in court, and he said, quote, "It does give me the satisfaction knowing that your life is going to be hard, every day a living hell," end quote. And that's exactly what Matthew deserves. Lauren's mom also spoke in court and expressed in the courtroom that Lauren's murder has broken her and that the actions of Matthew have forever changed her. During the sentencing, Lauren's family was surrounded by more than 50 supporters that wore buttons that featured Lauren's picture, as well as blue t-shirts that had the words Lauren's light on them. Many loved ones got up and spoke to the court about Lauren, and all of their statements were so impactful. It just really showed how much Lauren meant to all of them and how she touched all of their lives. This case really traumatized Lauren's family to the point that if someone doesn't answer their phone at night, panic immediately sets in. Her parents and sister did end up doing an interview on Good Morning America to warn other families about the signs of DV, and in that interview, they believe that Matthew's actions was premeditated. Her dad even said that he completely planned this ahead of time. He also mentioned that Matthew was abusive to Lauren, but Lauren was just too afraid to tell anyone. Also, something that is just super sad is that her dad expressed that the last time he saw Lauren, she didn't look like Lauren at all. She just looked a mess, and now he regrets not asking questions. Her mom even shared her recollection of the moment that the police came knocking on her door in the middle of the night.
Looks on their faces. I can't get that out of my head. It was devastating. And I thought, did Matt kill her? And they asked me, why would you ask that? I said, I don't know, I just know. I just know. And they told us that he had killed her and that he had stabbed her. And he had stabbed her so many times that they would have to count the stab wounds in the autopsy.
And you can just feel the pain that her mom endured in those moments. Lauren's family put together an organization on Facebook called Lauren's Light to help raise awareness for DV and abusive relationships. Lauren will always be remembered for her warmth and kindness that made the world a better place for all of those around her, because in the end, Lauren's life, impact, and story matter. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.